Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Carrie. I teach here at Sangha Studio. We're going to go through a flow class today that will be focused both on finding our breath and checking in with ourselves, and then also on building a little bit of fire through our physical postures to get things moving and some heat built. So let's go ahead and get started. So we'll go ahead and come to a comfortable seat. I'm sitting on a block, but if you have a book or something that you can find around your house that can help lift your hips up a little bit, maybe a pillow or something, you can sit on that, or you certainly can just sit on the floor. And so we'll go ahead and just start to settle in, kind of imagining that as you close your eyes, maybe you can feel yourself like some of the similar feelings that you feel when you come to Sangha, even though we're not physically in the space. You can start to feel your hips and maybe your feet or your legs touching the floor or the block. And then just allow your breath to be natural, whatever feels natural for you. Resisting the urge to change what is coming up for you. Maybe you notice that as you find a little bit of stillness and quiet, there's a lot of thoughts that are coming up. And seeing if you can imagine thoughts that are arising almost like a cloud in the sky. You notice it, but maybe you don't grab onto it and start following it. And that might be really hard, and that's okay. Just encouraging yourself to sit and breathe. I'll cue you through a 4-part breath. If you're interested in following along, you can, or you certainly don't have to. So we'll do a 4-part square breath. So we can imagine a square. We'll inhale up one side of the square. We'll pause at the top. We'll exhale down the other side of the square, and then pause at the bottom. And so we'll exhale first, and then take a nice big inhale. Pause at the top. And then exhale down the other side. And pause at the bottom. And inhale up. Pause. Exhale down. Pause. Following your own breath for the next series of breaths. One more complete breath here. And then just returning to your natural breath when you're ready. You can blink the eyes open if they've naturally closed here. And we'll start to introduce a little bit of movement into the body. So we can bring the hands so that they come down by the hips. And on an inhale, we can reach the arms up over the head, taking the full inhale breath. And then exhale the hands down. Taking your full breath as we inhale to reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And exhale. Twice more here. Seeing if we can keep our spine in neutral so that we're not reaching really actively and shoving our shoulders up towards our ears, but just allowing the smoothness of the breath to lead the arms up. And then lead them down. We can bring our hands now towards our hips. Any position that you're sitting in, if you're sitting on your shins or anything like that, we can just exhale to slide the hands so that they come towards the knees and take a little bit of a cat and cow here. And then inhale to drag the hands back up towards the hips. So here we're getting the spine a little bit more integrated. Maybe you're noticing your shoulders are joining in a little bit too. We'll take one more complete breath here. we can return back to neutral. And if there's any little movements that you'd like to take here before we meet in our tabletop pose, you can take those now. If you are sitting up on a book or a block, you can slide that to the side and then start to make your way into your tabletop pose. Again, from here, let's take 5 breaths to just arrive in our pose. And so maybe that looks like hip circles or maybe a bigger cat and cow here. When we're practicing at home, sometimes it can be a little bit almost confusing, like we don't know what to do at certain points. And see if you can practice here just for a couple of breaths to just do what feels good. So maybe you close your eyes, you tune out my voice, and you just do what feels good. And when you're ready, we can settle back into neutral. We'll draw our belly button into our spine so that we're nice and long in our lower back. And then let's extend our right leg long behind us. You can use the floor to get yourself square here. And then on an inhale, let's lift the right leg long behind us. And if you notice that you've tried to lift your legs super high and that your belly has gone down towards the floor, let's just straighten ourselves back out, draw the belly button into the spine, and start to build a little heat here so we can hug the right leg in more towards the center of the body. And then maybe we choose to extend the left arm long in front of us. And staying with our breath here. We can take one more nice big inhale. And then let's exhale, drop it back down to center. And then again, shift and rinse out that side. Again, coming back to neutral, belly button to spine, nice and long in the back. We can extend the left leg long behind us this time, get ourselves square. And then on an inhale, nice long lift of the left leg behind us here. And perhaps that visualization of thoughts like a cloud can be helpful in any of our physical postures here. It doesn't just have to be in our seated meditation. Thoughts can arise at any time. Maybe here you're extending the right arm out long in front. Again, reminding ourselves, draw the belly button into the spine for stability. And embrace a little shake or a little heat that's starting to build here. One nice long inhale and exhale to complete. And then returning back down to neutral. And again, we'll take about 5 breaths to just settle into our tabletop, and then the next place that we'll go is downward facing dog. And so perhaps you'd like to sit back into child's pose for a breath or two, or maybe there's a different posture that you'd like to try before coming up into your downward facing dog. We'll take some time to arrive here, so pedaling through the feet, or maybe lifting up to the tiptoes. Thinking about our goal here being finding our breath first, and then also thinking about the length of our spine. And so maybe you find that length and you find that breath through movement, or maybe you find it through stillness. Either way, let's stay here for another 3 breaths. When you're ready, you can start to take little steps, or maybe you're ready to hop, bringing the feet towards the hands. We could bend the knees, and then we'll fold forward at the top of our mat here. We can bring a slight bend to the knees and let our head hang. Maybe we're bringing a really big bend to the knees here. And then one vertebra at a time. As you inhale, we'll lift our way up slowly, head coming up last at the top of our mat. Finding Tadasana. Rolling the shoulders back. Maybe opening the eyes to let yourself take in the view around you, or maybe keeping the eyes closed. And we'll start with 3 sun salutation A's. So on an inhale, we'll reach the arms overhead. Let's exhale and dive forward. Take the full exhale. We'll inhale to halfway lift. Fingertips can draw up the shins. And then let's exhale, plant the hands and step one foot back and then the other to plank. We can pause here in plank or in knee down plank. Either one is nice and strong. And then we'll make our way down through knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga if that's a part of your practice. We can find our way into a back bend, maybe upward facing dog or baby cobra. And then we'll make our way back to downward facing dog. Let's draw belly button strong towards the back of the room as we lift up and settle in down dog. Continuing to build that heat here on an inhale, let's walk our feet or maybe hop them up towards the top of the mat. Exhale to fold. And this time, inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up, extended mountain. And exhale here. We begin again on an inhale, arm sweep. Exhale to fold. Take the full breath, inhale, belly button to spine, lift up. And then exhale, plant the hands. You could choose to step or hop back. If you hop back, let's hop right back into chaturanga. And then we'll inhale to come to our baby cobra or maybe upward facing dog. And then flip back, hips towards the back, crease between the wall and the ceiling as we lift the hips high to downward facing dog. And again, down dog does not have to be still at any point. It always can be, but it never has to be. One more sun salutation A coming our way. On an inhale, we step or hop up towards the top of the mat. Let's exhale to fold. And then reverse swan dive. Exhale here. One more time. Follow your own breath. If you'd like to add anything or take anything away, your practice, you choose. Once you arrive in downward facing dog, we'll stay here about 3 breaths. If child's pose or maybe tabletop feels better for you here, always an option to take any pose that feels good as you just reset. And the next time you find an inhale, let's again bring our feet up towards our hands. We could step or hop. Let's set up a chair pose here. So we could take our feet about hip distance apart. Let's sit the hips back first, and then we inhale to reach the arms up. So maybe we're reaching the arms just so that they're out straight in front of the shoulders. And if we feel like we can keep our shoulders down, maybe the hands are reaching up so that biceps are by the ears. We'll sit back nice and low. And breathe. So building heat, hugging into the center of the body here. Sitting back low, just one more breath, inhale. Exhale. And then on an inhale, we grow tall, extended mountain, fingertips reach. And let's exhale. We make our way back to our downward facing dog, however we like. So we could flow through our chaturanga, or maybe you're ready to step the hands and flatten them, and then just step the feet back. No problem either way. Again, drawing that strength in through the core here. On an inhale, let's lift the right leg high, but take the full inhale breath. So nice big inhale, nice strong lift, 3-leg dog. Finding that strength and stretch in the back leg here. Powering up through the lifted leg. We'll take one more inhale. And then we'll exhale, bringing the right foot up towards the hands. We can definitely help it up if we need it. And then we'll set up in our low lunge here. And so if you'd like to take your hands maybe to the top of your leg, you could certainly do that, or you could keep your hands down. Let's think about that nice long length from the top of the head all the way out through the spine here, bottom of the spine. And when you feel ready, we could inhale to lift the arms up, maybe extended so that biceps are by the ears, or maybe cactus arms to allow the shoulders to relax. We can always take our hands down, maybe just to shift so that we bring our left hip forward and our right hip back a little. Maybe we bend the back knee a little bit more. Let's settle into what feels good for us, as opposed to what we think the pose could or should look like. And if you feel like you'd like to stay here, you can, or we can build a little bit more heat by tapping the back knee down. So we'll exhale to drop the back knee to the floor and then inhale up. Exhale down and up. See if you can take the full breath on the way down, the full breath on the way up. We'll do 2 more. 1 more. And come up, settling back into our high lunge here. 1 more nice big inhale. And then let's exhale and open up into our warrior 2. So again, we can take our hands, maybe we're touching our hips, giving ourselves a little bit of time to figure out what feels good in terms of one hip in front of the other, up and down. Nice deep bend in the front knee. And then maybe we layer on the hands, fingertips reaching towards the front and back of whatever space you're in. Powerful, strong warrior 2, but also soft and relaxed face and tops of shoulders. We'll find a flow here between our extended side angle and our reverse warrior. So we'll start with extended side angle. So you can drop the right hand down to the top of the right leg, or maybe to the inside of the right leg. Your choice here. And that nice long extension from the fingertips of the left hand all the way out through the back of the left foot. And then as we inhale, we can come back through to warrior 2, and then exhale to drop down, this time reverse warrior. You can choose to stay in one pose for a long time or a short time. Whatever you're doing, you can choose to sync it up with the breath, with the inhales and the exhales. It doesn't really matter which one goes with which. Just tune in. Nice deep bend in the front knee as we flow through these 2 poses. We'll inhale to come back through center to warrior 2. Let's straighten through the front knee and we'll find our way towards triangle pose. So for triangle, we can reach the fingertips towards the front of the room, reach as far as you can, and then we'll lower down. We can allow our hand to come onto our shin, maybe to our book or block. And then again, play around. Maybe the gaze is looking up towards the ceiling, or maybe towards the side or the floor. Finding what feels good in our triangle pose here. Seeing if you can let go of any unnecessary holding, maybe in the fingertips or between the eyebrows. And then slowly on an inhale, we'll make our way out and back into our warrior 2. We can take our hands to our hips. Let's turn our toes towards the wide edge of our mat. Take a nice big inhale here. And then we'll exhale to fold forward, wide leg forward fold. We'll let our head hang here. If we don't feel super balanced or we feel like we're hanging a bit, we could again grab for our block or book and maybe take our hands to the top of that so that we feel a little bit more grounded as we fold forward. Everyone's different here, so you may notice that you feel a little bit like you're kind of hanging forward. If that's the case and you'd like to add a little bit of strength to the back of the legs, go ahead and kind of think about engaging the hamstrings, engaging the glutes a little bit. It doesn't have to change the physical appearance of what you're doing. It's more the idea, the thought of it. And then let the head hang. We'll be here another 2 breaths. Let's go ahead and bend the knees a little bit. We'll bring the hands back to the hips. We'll inhale to stand nice and tall, wide leg, and then come back into our warrior 2. Let's cartwheel the hands down as we exhale. You can either flow or step right back into your downward facing dog. Give yourself a little bit of time between the 2 sides. Reset any physical movement that would feel good. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. You can stay exactly as you are. I'm just going to go ahead and change sides around so that I don't put my back to you. And we'll start on the other side. So again, drawing belly button to spine. Nice strong inhale, we'll lift the left leg high this time, nice and slow. Still thinking about the length in the spine here, even though we have only 3 limbs on the floor. Another breath here. And then as we exhale, the left foot can come up towards the hands. And again, we set up in our low lunge here. Maybe the hands are coming to the hip, or maybe they're staying down towards the floor. Giving ourselves the space to figure out what feels good here as we settle into these single leg movements on the other side. And when you're ready, we can inhale and lift our way all the way up. Again, maybe our hands are coming to our hips to settle a little bit. Maybe the right hip draws forward a bit. And then we can inhale the arms to come up, or maybe choose cactus arms. Again, we can choose to stay here, or we can add a little bit of extra heat building. We can exhale to drop the back knee down and inhale to lift up. Twice more here, reminding ourselves to take the shoulders out of the ears. And last time, we'll inhale to lift. And then we can exhale to open up into our warrior 2. Again, maybe the hands are coming down, helping us play a little with the tilt of the pelvis forward and back. And then we can settle in nice and strong, warrior 2. Setting up for our flow between our extended side angle and our reverse warrior. We can drop down. Again, maybe the hand comes to the top of the leg or to the inside of the foot here. Gaze can be wherever feels comfortable. And then we can flow through the 2 postures as quickly or slowly as you'd like. We'll inhale to come back through warrior 2, and then exhale to drop down. Using this as a moving meditation, a way to connect with your inhales and exhales as you flow and make your way through these 2 postures. And taking your time, flowing through another 1 or 2, whatever makes you feel complete. We'll come back to neutral in our warrior 2. Again, we'll take the hands to the hips, turn the toes towards the side of the room, wide side of the mat. We can inhale, and then we'll exhale to fold forward. Again, letting your head hang heavy. And then if you'd like to try a different arm position here, again, you can always still have your hands glued down towards your block or your book. We could walk the hands out. Same thing on the block. I'll show you that in a moment. And walk the hands out almost as if we were doing a downward facing dog with our upper body, getting that little bit of extra extension of the spine. If we have our block, we can do the same thing here. Just giving ourselves an opportunity to explore wide leg forward fold in a slightly different way. And then inhale, we can walk the hands back in. Again, find that slight bend to the knees. Hands will come back to the hips. We'll slowly lift up. Again, wide leg. And then we'll come back through to our warrior two. You can cartwheel the hands down and then step back into downward facing dog, or find your way through a flow before you arrive there. Again, making our way to three-leg dog. This time on an inhale, let's lift the right leg high. And we'll find our pigeon pose. So right knee can come up towards right wrist. Maybe we walk the back foot back a little bit. And then the physical shape of this posture can take many different appearances. We could reach for our block and maybe place it under our forehead or under our chest. Maybe we stay lifted, or maybe we lower down. And another really great option, you can stay in this place, or you could choose to lay all the way down on your back, and we can do a figure four in order to get the same type of hip opening stretch. And so you take your choice between those two postures. Whatever feels good, whatever allows you to find your breath, that's where we want to be. I'll stay here for 3 more breaths. And if you're laying on your back in your figure four stretch, you can stay on your back, unhook your legs, and then just sort of windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Or if you're in your pigeon pose, we can tuck the back toes. And then your choice here, if you want to add a little bit of extra fire here, let's draw the belly button into the spine so that our lower back is super long and our core is super tight. We can come to sort of like a hanging pigeon pose here, really powerful and strong. And then when you're ready to let that go, come back to downward facing dog. And take a moment to settle in and just check in with what would feel good. And then take whatever counter movements or poses or stillness would feel good. Maybe child's pose or something else. No right or wrong. And we'll come back through to our downward facing dog. Draw the belly button into the spine. Inhale. Take the full breath. And then we'll make our way to pigeon pose on the other side. You can absolutely lay on your back. Maybe on this side feels different than the other side. So you don't want to take the same one, that's okay. Being a little bit more effortless with your breath. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And again, if you're laying on your back, you can just unhook your legs and windshield wiper your legs towards left and right. And if you want to take a little bit of a fiery twist here, we can tuck the back toes, really draw the belly button to the spine, see how your lower back lifts up, nice and strong, and we hang here. And then when you're ready, we can come back to downward facing dog. Again, taking whatever counter movement or counter pose feels good. Maybe it's the same on this side or different. And then when you're ready, we'll drop down to the shins. We can extend the legs out long in front of us, and we'll come to seat. We'll bring the bottoms of the feet together here. Sit up nice and tall so that our spine is nice and long. And then we'll fold forward, keeping our spine nice and long. If you have your block or something that you want to rest your forehead on, you can do that. Or you could choose to keep your gaze out towards the front, nice and long in the spine. And seeing if you can find that balance between softness and strength here, maybe going a little bit more towards the softness side. And so for you, that might look like draping forward a little bit more. And letting go of holding in places that you would rather release. Maybe you might even like to find that square breath again that we started class with. Inhaling up one side of the square, holding at the top. Exhaling down the other side of the square, and holding at the bottom. We'll inhale to lift our way up. Let's draw the knees together. We can take the hands to the outsides of the legs, and then we'll lower all the way down onto our back. So your choice here how you'd like to do that. We can lower really slowly, drawing belly button into spine. Nice, slow, slow, slow lower. Or you can choose to rock all the way back. So as long as it takes you to get there, no problem. Take your time. If you arrive, when you arrive, you can go ahead and take your happy baby, so drawing knees in towards the armpits, maybe reaching hands for the outside of your feet. Using gravity here as almost a self-assist to really draw yourself deeper down in towards the floor. And we'll make our way towards bridge pose. So bringing our feet to the floor. You could choose to do this supported with your book or your block if you wanted to reach for that. Or if you don't have that or you'd rather not, I'll also cue you through unsupported bridge. So if you're going to choose supported bridge, we'll slide the block underneath or the book underneath our sacrum, that nice flat part of the back of our pelvis, and settle here in our supported bridge. Or if we'd like to choose unsupported bridge, we can reach our fingertips towards our feet so our shoulders come down away from the ears. Let's tuck the belly button into the spine to lower our lower back onto the mat so it's really strong. And then we can inhale to lift up in one piece here. And maybe this feels like enough. Or maybe we start to roll our shoulders underneath so that our shoulder blades come together on our spine. Maybe even clasping the hands. Nice big active press. And then whenever you're ready to come down, just peel off the layers that you've chosen to add on. If you have your hips on the block, we can go ahead and lift the hips up just high enough to slide the block out from underneath. And then we all lower all the way down, We can just shift our knees towards left and right here, just to give a little massage to the lower back. And then we'll keep the bottoms of the feet on the floor. Let's lift up just a little, shift our hips over so that they come more towards the left side of the mat, and then we'll drop our knees down towards the right. Maybe we extend the left arm long, gaze can come towards that left hand, or perhaps we're staying just in neutral. Winding down our practice here with a couple of twists. We can inhale to unwind here, bringing ourselves back through neutral. Planting the feet on the floor and shifting the hips so that they're back in neutral. And then pressing into the feet, shifting the hips a little more towards the right side of the mat, and then dropping the knees down to the left. And again, maybe the right arm extends, or the gaze turns towards the right. Starting to unwind as we're ready, and then making our way towards our Shavasana. So you could grab for some socks or a sweatshirt. Maybe you choose to take Shavasana laying on your back with your arms and legs extended, or perhaps you choose another option like laying on your side or your belly. You can press into the back of the head if you're laying down in order to shift the shoulders down a little bit. And let yourself relax. Nothing left to do except just be exactly as you are. And choosing to stay in your Shavasana as long as you would like. And when you're ready, you can start to wake back up. Wiggling fingers and toes, making your way up to a comfortable seat. If you're still in Shavasana, stay there as long as you need to. The most important pose of our yoga practice. May all beings in all realms know the feeling state of ease. Thank you for practicing with me today. I'll see you soon.